Now, one of the hottest topics right now going on, on the internet right now. Shout out to Jim Jones. Because Jim Jones, he finds lanes and avenues for himself traditionally where he kind of like just bullies his way. And now he's in the podcast space. He has a new podcast, Artist to Artist. And he had, the Lobby Boys on there, which is himself, Dave East, Fabulous, and Mano. And they had this kind of discussion where they were talking about fashion. Let's check it out and see exactly what they were saying.
The whole Brooklyn's fly in Harlem is what you saying? Or y'all got a couple fly niggas in Harlem?
Like we got
in
one
Brooklyn.
section that matters the most.
But Best Style's considered Harlem.
No, it's
the
not.
Harlem
You
of
made
Brooklyn.
that up. You made that up. It's
I'm
not
telling
nobody
you,
on this
Best Style-
fucking earth ever said that. You made that up.
First of all,
Because you're style. Because you're
acting like
stylish.
the whole Harlem is fly.
Right? Yeah, crazy.
There's a lot of dusties in Harlem
Right.
too.
It's more influential at
algorithm,
fashion
right?
than Harlem.
A Harlem got
Y'all
y'all.
seriously gonna say that right
Y'all
now?
bugging.
It's fun.
Besides you and Dipset,
Right,
I don't know
other than
anybody
what?
else from Harlem that
Yeah, me neither.
that set
Me either.
style. What's the name? Brooklyn has a lot of
Yeah.
you could say that.
Yeah.
Me, Big,
Yeah.
and Hove
There you go.
outweigh
Right there.
Harlem's.
There you go right there. Whatever he said,
like,
nigga.
You must be talking about like
Hold on,
hustlers or like street
fly,
niggas.
wait, hold on.
But I do and
I'm
Dipset.
Big and Hov for fly.
100%. I'm going
Listen,
to
I love Hov,
100%.
but Hov, I don't think is in a fly conversation like you did.
Hove sets trends.
He did his thing with the button ups.
All right, so now y'all see the clip now, right? So let's get into the whole conversation when it comes to fashion and it comes to the influences of where fashion really, gets his love. I think Harlem has a mystique about it that it's always been that borough that's been putting on. But when you really think about it in hindsight, it's a lot of that fashion is stuck in that area. So if you don't really go uptown, you don't see a lot of that fashion. Let's bring it back to the whole Dapper Dan era, right? Dap was putting on things for the dealers and all of that. He's from Harlem. But it was really like, he's taking inspired pieces of Gucci and Louis Vuitton. He's kind of making it his own. All right, cool. But one of the biggest dudes that used to come up there to go fool with that was who? A Brooklyn nigga, Mike Tyson. He was one of his most loyal customers. And guess what? If anybody had the bread to give to Dap on a consistent basis, guess who it was? It was Mike Tyson. Right? All right. So that's yin versus yang on that one, right? We fast forward, we might say the Dipset era, right? The initial Dipset era, when it was Cam, Jewels, and all of them together, right? The look of the Harlem, Jeff Hamilton jackets, the big baggy two-tone do-rags and colorful pinwheel hats. That was a look, but it was a very isolated look, right? Let's keep it real. Cam he was known to be fly, but if you really sit back and think about it, what's one outfit that we was like, yo, Cam really put that shit on like that? The fur was a moment. You know what I mean? The Jeff Hamilton jacket, let me know, that was a moment. Him wearing pink, that was a movement. But it was nothing really fly he was putting on in pink. Pink was just a tone that he wore, and people kind of played around with it. I did a little pink myself. But when we say iconic people, Fab named somebody. He named himself, he named Big, and he named Hov. So let's start with Hov first, right? So we're not going to think Hov is the most fashionable guy in the universe, but Hov had his moments, right? So now when Hov said, these ain't Diesel, these is a Visu, motherfuckers didn't even know what a Visu denim was, right? Japanese denim. Then people started doing their research and was like, oh shit, this is a whole different shit going on. This wasn't Levi's, this wasn't none of that shit. Chrome Hearts. We know Jim Jones for kind of, making Chrome Hearts, really a staple. But you could find images of Jay-Z rocking Chrome Hearts years ago, before it even hit the scene like that. People really didn't even know what it was, but he did. Fab. We had Fab putting on with the whole Jersey era. Throwbacks after throwbacks, matching hats, sneakers. Like, that was an era where it was undefeated. We started seeing hardware classics and Penny Hardaways and Moses Malones. We started seeing a whole bunch of shit that we haven't seen And that was the Fab movement right there, right? Jay-Z also did play along with some of the jerseys, but then Jay-Z said, you know what? Button-ups, hats, and all white ups. That became the uniform for a club at one point. You was not getting in nowhere in New York City in a club, whether it be Mars 2112, Opium, and all these other places, Avalon, Delancey, all these other clubs. You was not getting in the club if you did not have a fresh button up. And sometimes they didn't even let you wear your hat. But Jay-Z kind of killed the jerseys and forced people to be adults, basically. The whole New York City, it became a staple in New York City. All right, boom. Biggie Smalls. I know I'm jumping all over the place when it comes to eras or whatever. But Biggie known for the Coogis. Big boy swag, Versace's. He did a campaign with Carl Kanai. Carl Kanai, where he's from? Brooklyn. Probably one of the first streetwear brands, black owned, in New York City. Not from Harlem, not from Queens, but from Brooklyn. Y'all gonna have to give us a little bit more credit than this, man. Think about it. When you think about Tim's, right? Tim's are universal when it comes to cheese Tim's. I give y'all those, right? But field boots, beef and broccolis, Ike and Tina's, you know what I'm saying? What was the other one? Chicken and gravy, extra mac and cheese. We had all the flavors when it came to the boot game. And that was a regional thing because people from uptown wasn't really rocking field boot Timberlands. They were more like I want to say Vasquez or maybe Dolomites during that era. And then later on became A Solos and Nike boots. Kind of Nike boots came over the bridge a little bit. But Harlem did have a little bit of, you know what I mean, BB Simon belts, but everybody wasn't into that look. The True Religion thing, y'all I'm gonna give y'all credit for the trues. The true era with the Nike boots. All right, y'all might have got that, right? But even when it came to jackets, things that's relevant today, such as Vance's, that was a Brooklyn thing. Vance's and a clean pair of Pradas, that was a Brooklyn staple. Y'all kind of was doing more regattas and what Avorexes or something like that. You know, Pele's maybe. That was kind of like the Uptown moniker. Even Scarface shit with the Wazams or whatever the hell y'all used to wear. It was a different flow, 100%. But the fact that people try to discredit Brooklyn when it comes to fashion, it's kind of crazy to me, man. Even when it gets closer to the Pop Smoke era, where he put on high class fashion when it comes to Amiri jeans and the way he wore it and mixing it with the LV out at the Paris fashion show. He kind of showed you and ushered into that that fly young boy shit, which you still see up to today. They kind of switch it up in Atlanta and they made it look a little funny, but you know what I mean? Pop was a RIP. He's a Brooklyn nigga, man. How much people you really? All right, Jim Jones. We go back to Jim Jones and Joel's, the skull gang movement. All right, I give y'all the Ed Hardy, Christian Audiger. That was a thing. You still see the chain link belts and all of that. I give y'all credit for that. A lot of the shit y'all did is kind of still modernized today, but you can't discredit Brooklyn and what we ever did. Polo, the low lives. Matter of fact, let's take a quick look so y'all get an understanding of that society right there.
Polo was never meant for us. It spoke country clubs, yacht decks, and Ivy League lawns, until the block rewrote the script. Brownsville to Flatbush, the lowlifes didn't ask. They claimed it, snatched those horsemen from the hills and galloped them through the boroughs. Polo wasn't luxury anymore. It was survival in silk, a coat of arms for the unfazed and underpaid. We didn't rock it because it was expensive. We rocked it because it felt like stolen royalty. Every piece layered with intention. You were either wearing your struggle or styling over it. Either way, you looked like you meant something. Polo on the Ab wasn't about horses. It was about hustle. It was the proof that we could take the world's idea of exclusive and flip it into something undeniably ours. From boosting to bars, from sidewalk runways to album covers, we didn't just make Polo popular. We made it matter. Polo wasn't for the hood. until the hood made it iconic.
So the low life society in itself is a Brooklyn thing, man. People ran around and they raised the flag and they made high-end streetwear, the Brooklyn way. So, shout out to Uptown, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, I guess Long Island, Queens, all that. But when it comes to this fashion shit, Brooklyn, we ain't never been slouches, and it's very disrespectful. I didn't even feel that way that, Brooklyn don't put on. But y'all let us know in the comments exactly what you feel about this topic, man. Like, is Harlem really it? Or, Brooklyn is underestimated when it comes to fashion. Because, I'm probably missing a few moments that, really stood out. But, Fab is another one. That the whole Rich Young era, that was a movement in itself that originated in Brooklyn. Vinny's, Brooklyn Sky, and then it started going uptown. But go look back at this old Smack DVDs, man. If you ain't had them wings, fly niggas knew fly shit, man. Look at the old photos. You see a couple, you see me in a couple wings as well. But let's jump to the next topic.